Welcome back to Sip the Telefilms and the Ravens Roundtable. This is the no, it ain't. It ain't the last one. I don't even know why I was going to fix my mouth to say that. This is just the end of the season one, but it's definitely not the last roundtable. So, without further ado, we all know we lost to the Bengals last night, 24-7. I mean, not 24-7, 24-17. And I don't even want to give my thoughts. I just want to get everybody else's thoughts and we can talk about it and get this session out there and move on to the next step. So I'm gonna bring everybody in. We got the whole crew in today. We fully staffed. Nobody's on IR. Everybody practiced. Everybody's participating. So we're gonna start with my man Hendo right here. What up, Hendo?
Not much. What's going on, Coach? Thank you for having me once again.
Good. And I do want to say a big forget you to Suge for making my man wear this on camera. I don't really, Suge, we coming for you. We coming for you.
It ain't Suge's fault. It's our fault for losing. Just saying. True. We should have beat Pittsburgh. I'm just saying.
True.
What's going on, Grady?
Chris. What up, Chris?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? I'm ready for this therapy session right now.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it's going to be. Next up, we got Jose and B.
What's good, fellas? Hey, it's definitely not the last one. So, we still have a whole lot to discuss.
Okay. Let's see what Brent talking about.
What's up, Brent?
Oh, because I sent Brent his gift, and I was just trying to make sure he got it. He hadn't got it yet. And last but not least, OTL Mike. What up, Mike?
What up, people? Let's get it, man.
Hey, before I forget, I had a great conversation with Mikey today, and I'm not going to go into details, but just know when that episode comes out, it's going to be fine. It was pretty dope with what we did today.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get started with the game. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something a little different. Instead of going position by position, we're gonna talk about the game, like just have a regular conversation, and then we'll start to talk about something else on the back end. So we really gonna have two big parts, and then we'll go into our last part. Then we'll kind of get up out of there. And I'm sure, like if say Hendo goes something he say or trigger something for somebody else, and that's how the conversation gonna go. And we're just not gonna do position by position because, like I told them earlier, I probably get upset again. I don't know how they feel, but it was just like Hendo said before we started. We had hope, and to be dashed on us, that was hurtful. Like that was crazy. But we'll start off with you, Chris. Give me your take on the game.
Man. It went down, the way it was supposed to go down. Like, make it ugly, make it dirty. They were doing everything they needed to do. Then, Snoop surprised, hitting a few long passes, the 3rd and 1 play to Andrews where they went over the top. Like, that was surprising. So I'm like, okay, so they're doing a little bit more than the ground game. And it was working. It was working until that, that 3rd down play at the 2. And, we know what happened. But, I don't know, man. It's basically what we've been talking about this whole year at the end of our shows. When almost every show we've done, at the end, when we talk about coaching, this is what reared its ugly head in. And at this point, it's like, as Ravens fans, even people that are Ravens fans like B, like, we're not even surprised by it anymore. Like, we come to expect some kind of incompetence at a critical point. And it's not even the players' fault. I think the players played their asses off. Was it a perfect game? No, you're never going to have a perfect game. But I thought the players played their asses off. Unfortunately, they were coaching did not raise to the occasion again.
And I think Giro had one of his best called games, I think. But it's still the same niche that killed him last night. Situational. What you think about it,
Hendo? Contrary to what you just said, Coach, I'm not going to say he called one of his best games because I was on your stream last night and you were constantly yelling, saying, why are you running to the short side of the field?
True.
He didn't say it was good. He said it was one of his best.
Also, there were a lot of broken plays that the players themselves kind of got us out of out of harm's way. The JK, he ducked out a few times, even the pass that went over Huntley's head. But just overall, Chris said it best. This has to do mostly on coaching. For everybody that's like, Harbaugh is this top 5 coach. Giro, why do you want to fire him? This is exactly why. This is the 3rd postseason out of 4 years. I'm not going to even include Harbaugh's past that we got away from what works for us. They couldn't stop the run game. JK running them over, 13 rushes, 62 yards. Gus bowling them down. Even Justice Hill came in and was finding creases to get into. We get into the red zone. We go 1 for 4. We don't run JK or Gus in any of those situations. We try a fullback pass in a flat as a play. Like, I don't understand why Greg Roman decides at the most critical times that he wants to try and think he can outsmart everyone else. And for John Harbaugh to sit there and let this play out year in and year out, it's just like there has to be some time where Harbaugh says, listen, we've seen this movie before. Don't do this again. Like, get your stuff together, line up and heavy, whatever you're going to do, and run Gus.
Right.
We'll put JK in because the one that we did get, JK was in on that play, and he vented his frustrations after the game. As far as the Tyler Huntley play, some people put it on Tyler Huntley, some people put it on Greg Roman. I put it on Greg Roman for putting him in that position. He's just trying to make a play to win the game. You know, I do give Huntley a slither of the credit because once again with his team, but he followed, effort, energy, and knowledge follows leadership. And for Huntley not to know that he was a yard shy of the goal line because he's standing there looking around like I crossed the plane, bro. You wasn't even close. For him not to know that, that's a reflection of his leadership. We shouldn't have been doing a QB sneak from the 2-yard line. From the 2-yard line, I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, line Pat Ricard up and have him run it in at the least. I just think that at the worst times, and like I said all year long, I'm not worried about regular season success, regular season production. I'm worried about what we do in the playoffs. Now, I am not the biggest Isaiah Likely fan. Where was he at on that last drive?
Where was he at? The
For
whole
most of the game,
quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
You know,
he wasn't even on the field for the most part.
And you could say that about multiple players, key players.
Right?
Yeah.
The actual guys that make plays and get open, they take them out of the game. JK makes a play, gets some yards, he sits down for 9 plays. You bring him back a quarter later. Like, it's just that I'm sick and tired of seeing the same thing over and over from this coaching staff. But I heard, I could be wrong, there's a reason that your boy didn't give his press conference today because he might be stepping down.
No, they didn't. His press conference wasn't scheduled today. All they had was a team meeting.
Really? Because somebody said he was supposed to speak to the media and he didn't.
No,
Harbaugh?
All they had was a team meeting. They was a team meeting, and they opened the locker room up to reporters while the guys cleaned their lockers out.
Okay.
Normally when it's over with, they have an end of the year thing, and it'd be him and DaCosta.
Well, that's the state of the Ravens. That comes later. On. But you just had to kill my joy, huh? You couldn't give me 24 hours.
You get my hopes
you couldn't even give me 24 hours. You couldn't even let me leave.
I didn't want to do you like the Ravens did you. You got your hopes up, then shot you down.
But at least I'd have been happy for 24 hours.
My bad, dog. My bad. That's me. I take it.
I'm
gonna take accountability, unlike somebody else. I did that. I'm sorry.
I apologize. But I'm just glad now that a lot of people are finally starting to see the ineptitude of John Harbaugh and his staff.
Before we move on, I'm gonna get this super chat. Henry Vaughn donated 10. I appreciate it. He said, "I've been a Raven fan my whole life, but if Lamar leave, I leave. I'm disappointed on how they are handling this. Complain about him being hurt but put everything on his back. That's 100% right. 100% right. Leaking stuff and all the other what I would consider bad business is not good, but we'll see. I just got another one. Let me see. Marco G got dropped 5. He said that fumble from the 3 kept me up last night. I'm still hurting. Glad JK went off post game, and also glad the players had LJ's back post game. That was good too. With Clowney Watkins, really wanted to. And I ain't boo him as much as I wanted to because I kept forgetting. I got
Sammy.
into the game a little bit. But he definitely got about 3 or 4 boos out of me last night.
Did he say
something out there?
Did he come out and say yesterday he was joking? He's being sarcastic, trying to change up.
I was playing, man. I was playing.
He said that jokes, yeah.
Oh.
I thought he was playing initially too. When he was just like, yeah, have him go out there on passing plays and take him out on run plays. I was like, oh, this gotta be a troll. He can't be serious about that.
Yeah, he took it and ran with it, and he ain't say nothing about it till today.
Yeah.
Right.
He liked the attention.
Jose?
No, I mean everything Chris and Hendo was saying, man, it's disappointing. Yes, I had the Bengals winning big, but when we took the lead at halftime, gave me hope, right? And it gave me flashbacks of when we beat the Patriots in our Super Bowl run. That was my I tell everybody all the time, that's my favorite win in that whole playoff series was when because we didn't just beat the Patriots, man. We beat the will out of them, right? And it was starting to look like that type of game where we're just taking their will, like we're just beating them up, we're imposing our will, like we're being physical with them. And I thought if we were going to score right there at the goal line, that would have been a backbreaker, and I would have loved to win that way.
Yeah.
But look, man, this is what happens when one team has talent, the other team does not, or is lacking talent. Especially on offense. The other team can have an ugly game and find a way to win. The team that's lacking on talent has to play perfect because near perfect gets you almost a win, not the win.
Yep.
So, look, man, I mean, the only thing we can look at right now is if 8 is going to stay, if Harbaugh is going to leave, and more importantly, G-Roll, or they, not even G-Roll. I should say, are they going to change their philosophy if Lamar stays? That's the main thing. But yeah, man, like, JK not there, not getting any touches at the in the red zone, like he said. Isaiah Likely nowhere to be found, really in that second half, right? We passed up on getting actual talent, right? Or bringing in any help because they're telling us these are the guys that are going to help us out. Yeah, she says that's a fire shirt, Hendo. I see. But these are the guys that were going to help us out, right? A lot of pressure put on Isaiah Likely, a lot of pressure put in his run game. I mean, a couple weeks ago it was, hey, how come Gus Edwards only got 3 carries? I don't know. I'm waiting for his press conference so somebody can ask what happened with J.K. Dobbins. I want to hear his response. I don't want it better not be, yeah, I wish we'd have gotten the ball more. I don't know what happened there. Like, they don't have any answers for these mistakes going on with this team. It's a complete joke. So there has to be some shakeup there, man. I expect Giro to be gone. I'm not sure that'll fix the problem. Like, Harbaugh ultimately has to go, but I expect Giro to be gone because at this point, man, he clearly does not know what he's doing out there.
Facts. And the good thing about it is we don't have to actually fire him. So that's the great thing about it.
I don't like that.
We don't actually have to fire him.
I don't like that. I want him to be fired. Not renew his contract. Fire him.
Miss that time frame.
Give him a 1-day contract.
As of I think as of yesterday or whenever the paperwork say he's done.
When the season's over.
Now the thing is hopefully they don't re-up him. That's don't go back to the plug.
What if they do, Coach?
Change plugs. Don't go back to that same plug you've been getting that dope from.
What if they re-sign him next week?
Then
I will not be doing this show anymore.
That's crazy. All right, B, what you think?
I thought this game showed. Well, first off, I've been pretty hard on Tyler Huntley. I don't think he's a very good quarterback or a good backup, but he played really well yesterday, I thought. Obviously, like Chris said, he makes mistakes. He's not a perfect player or anything, but he played really hard. He made plays when he could, outside of just sticking the ball straight up in the air. I thought he had a really good night, and I thought that also Owe. I thought Owe showed up and made some plays when they really needed him to. So that was encouraging to see. But other than that, I would say that this game showed exactly what the problem with the Ravens is. Like you guys already said, they're a poorly coached team. they don't actually believe in the philosophy that they say they believe in. You know, it's not defense and run game, because when it comes down to it, they don't run the ball with their running backs. They just don't do it. You know, I mean, congrats to them for finally getting running backs more than 10 carries in a playoff game, but you know, it took 4 years to do it. You know, because they don't really believe that. They're too scared to stick to that philosophy when it's winning time, right? You know, you always want to go somewhere else. You always want to like I said, outsmart somebody when you can't really do that because you're not the smartest guy on the field. You know, and also, you know, you have an organization that doesn't trust young players, doesn't want to put young players in those high pressure situations, but also says, give me 12 draft picks every year. And so I'm not sure how any of that works. So you have a core of extremely young players, you know, first and second year players, and then you're relying on Justin Houston and Calais Campbell in their late 30s to go out there and be the guys who make the plays for you, because you won't put younger guys in those spots. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it showed the problems in Baltimore, why this regime can't really get it done. You know, you're just, everything is at odds with everything else. You know, it doesn't, their philosophy doesn't really make any sense. I thought the team played as well and as hard as they could, but it's just not a talented enough group to overcome the mistakes and the poor coaching and everything. So yeah, like everybody said, you know, we'll have to see what comes next for him.
Cool. I'm gonna drop Marco again. He says, Chris said it last week, Roman can't work with multiple targets. Andrews played and likely went MIA. Even some gatekeepers now say they want Harbs go home. Yeah, I think the main I was about to get in trouble for saying that.
You should have just said it.
Ooh. The main DE has finally turned the corner and won't change. And I ain't gonna say who the main DE is. I'm gonna leave it at that. Mike, how you feel about the game?
That's the one that they cut off his key card.
He lost his credentials.
He showed up. Boop, boop, boop. Car's not working.
Oh man, look. I mean, everything y'all said, man. The team played hard. I said last week that I felt that they had a shot in this game, just off of the sense that it was a division game. No matter who was playing, when it's divisional foes, like, I mean, you know, you can. I said on Hendo's show, I remember when Pittsburgh had won like 10, 11 straight, and we sent RG3 in there, and we were in the game, almost won the game. So, you know, I felt they had a chance. I liked the way they looked the week before defensively, and they brought that last night. That defense was still they was out there striking. I said that they would have to play a perfect game, and they did for 3.5 quarters, right? It just went down to, of course, the goal line lunge from the 3-yard line, or whatever we want to call it. And it's, I mean, ultimately coaching. I saw Chris, you know, I was checking out Chris's Twitter throughout the game, and, you know, he said it for me. Like, yo, run the ball. Like, why? Who? They wanted to blame Huntley, and everybody's doing that. Oh, that's Huntley's fault. Huntley, da-da-da. And I get it, right? But Huntley does what he's told to do. He ran the play that was called in. So whoever called that play, we know who called the play. But why you call that play at that moment is the issue I have with it. Like, run the ball. And I was excited. I was happy that JK did what he did and said what he said after the game. It's about time that the word that we've been using is accountability. It's about time that somebody called them out, the coaches out, about the lack thereof of accountability. So it was tough, right? I went into it with a grain of salt. You know, like I said, I thought they would be in it. I never thought they would get blown out. We haven't seen that at all this year. But they played well, man. And like you guys said, the players were out there playing with what they had. Coaches let them down. I mean, down to the play calls, down to the Mark Andrews handoff, like they didn't know what was coming. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, the draw play right before on that last drive, like whatever they call it. I don't even know if it was a draw, but handing off to Justice Hill right there, which ended up being a penalty, and it was just coaching was bad. And like you said, we've been saying it, all season long, basically. Even down to the clock management, Harb's not burning the timeout. I mean, we had like 58 seconds, right? Roman not calling in more than one play at a time, to where the point where they had to huddle twice on that drive. Like, it was just those type of things where it was just like, this is what's going to let it down. So it's time. Like I said, like all of you guys are saying, it's time, man. Like, I'm not the biggest Harbs hater, as I said on this show before, but 15 years in one place is a long time. And it's about that time we get a new voice, and this team goes in a new direction. It's just run its course, and it happens, right? Andy Reid was in Philly for how long, right? And they went to how many straight NFC championship games, and it still ran its course there. So it's just that time that we get a new voice. Roman gots to go. Hard's back or not, Roman gotta be gone. He has to be. And if they re-sign him, like you said, Hendo, then that just only tells me that Lamar is gone for sure. It's looking that way anyway, but that would just solidify that for me.
Who would be in, right? Like, who else can do anything with that system?
And these players,
I don't know, but it's time for a change, man. And like I said, kudos to the players. They played their asses off.
Yeah, I did want to say one other thing too, Coach. I thought that it was pretty perfect that Coach Harbaugh and EDC and all of them, they liked their guys and they wanted to let the young guys cook, and the game ended with the ball just fluttering down to the receiver who supposedly has the greatest hands. Who has the greatest hands of all time, who's never dropped a pass in his life, and it slipped right between them.
That's how he tried to catch it.
I thought it was beautiful.
First of all,
it was poetic.
First of all, Brodney, he short-armed it. I watched him play like 12 times. He didn't even extend. He kind of alligator armed it and was like, no.
He didn't look like he wanted to be out there at any point during the game to me. Like, when he was returning those punts, he was jogging and going straight to the sideline. But I thought he would have given it all to catch that tip and been the hero in Baltimore.
Do you know that one catch would have erased the whole season for him?
Yeah. He would have been David Tyree.
that one catch would have erased everything.
And it wasn't even for a win.
All the Pro Shade truthers would have, they would have came, they would have dusted off their Channel 3 hoodies, because I was the only one brave enough to wear mine.
I said that to Jose after the game. I'm like, he could have changed his whole narrative in this town if he'd have caught that ball.
One catch.
And on this show, like, we would have had to give him, hey man, we gotta give it up to Pro Shade if he'd have caught that ball.
Tariq would have been back in our chat.
If Pro Shade catches that ball, I would have still been running around.
Yeah,
me too.
But coach, we gotta let the boys cook. All they need is an opportunity.
I see you, IO Horace. IO Horace, who's Pro Shade's former roommate, trying to say I have faith Channel 3. You don't even support your boy. Get out of here. You've been quiet about Channel 3 all year. I don't want to hear from you.
Until he got a post with a Channel 3 hoodie. No, because you got one.
I have one.
I have one.
He ain't got one. Like, I'm pretty sure our hoodies outsell those. Like, ain't none of them Pro Shade fans logging on that site and buying nothing.
It's a nice hoodie. It's nice.
I got some LBHT on right now.
I hate it for him, because I am really a fan of the kid, his energy and whatnot.
Yeah,
but I just hate it for him, man.
No, coach.
No, you can't. I can feel the way I feel about it.
No. You can hate the situation, but why do you hate it for him? Because he had every opportunity to prove.
No, because that's what I was trying to say. Because I think as far as a good dude, he's that.
Yeah,
He's a good dude. He's a great teammate, and I wish more success for him. But me wishing success on him has nothing to do with his ability to beat Sammy Watkins out and get on the field, to beat what's the one hand man name? That hold the ball with D-Rob. That don't have nothing to do with beating those guys out to get on the field, because it ain't like there was great receivers in front of him to beat out for time.
Right. He said Prochet came in for one play. Why did Prochet come in for one play?
He played more than one play.
No. Even if he played that one play, when you have more penalties than you have catches, why do I want you on the field?
Well, so if it was one play, what did he do with the play? He had a chance to catch it.
Yeah.
He only need to make one play.
That I don't agree with y'all. I don't think he had a chance. I don't think he could have caught it. I know he touched it. I know he touched it. But I don't
he had extended his arms.
Exactly. He didn't extend his arms. He alligator armed it and hit it with his fingers. If he just put his arms out, he could have caught that ball.
Like, Coach, I get what you're saying, right? Like, you're thinking rationally, right? Because
trying to.
You're not saying he's D-Hop out there. You're not saying he's one of those players. Mm-mm. But people like our Horace have been saying since the offseason that he is that type of player, right? So when he comes in here and makes excuses, when you're saying he's a poor man's AB, when he's the best hands on the team, well, that's what you're expected to do if you're that level of player. We're saying he's not, so we didn't have that expectation. I mean, we wish we could have done it. Like we said, it would have been nice, but you guys, the Prochet truthers out there had that expectation, right? And when we say he's not that guy, and you come to our channel and you want to get on us about it, yes, that's why I rock the Channel 3 hoodie, because I've shown more support than you guys have. You talk that talk, right? But you're not really supporting that guy like that. You don't really believe in that guy like that, and this is why.
Yeah, I'm not gonna add you because I don't want it to get into a straight back and forth about that. So, not trying to be a dick, but I'm just gonna keep it with the 6 that we got. So I don't want you to think it's like a F you. I ain't gonna add you, but I'm just.
You're not trying to be a dick. He's
but not. He ain't never been that to me though. He ain't never been that to me. So that's why if he want to go back and forth, go to Twitter or jump in one of y'all streams. But I'm not gonna add. Because he never, like I said, he ain't never did it to me. So I can't. You know what I'm saying? I can't just lump it all in there. Not to say what goes on that way, but y'all know what it is.
We get it, Coach.
Yeah. 3 plays I want to ask you guys about. 3 plays, and we already talked about one of them. The handing them all off to Mark in the backfield. What was that? The second play is the tight end screen to Mark. What was that? And then I had a third one. I lost my third play. What was the third play? Was it the
Ricard play?
Was that a play where Ricard, like it was a shotgun and they handed out to Ricard? Did I see that?
No, they handed out to Mark.
It was Mark?
Yeah.
I could have sworn there was one to Ricard too.
No, they handed the ball off to Mark.
Oh,
those 3 plays. And Hendo mentioned it earlier when I said it was one of the better called games. And sitting there thinking about some of the stuff, it was not Hendo. I guess I was so happy to see him do more outside zone because we couldn't do anything with Reader. Reader was basically baptizing Linderbaum. It was nuts. But what y'all think about those 2 plays? And I don't think the screen was bad to Mark, but Mark don't have no Let that be
likely.
Let that be likely. But what y'all think about those plays?
Would have been great for Deshaun Jackson.
Facts.
Would have been really cool to hand it to one of your running backs.
Even so.
I'm just happy we executed the screen.
A couple. We had a couple
of them. Yeah.
Because for years we just couldn't get it right. But once again, trying to be the smartest man in the room, you on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, run your tight end. that has really no burst.
Yeah, and he took the wrong he took the wrong hole though.
He did.
He took the wrong hole. He tried to bounce it outside for some reason, but even still, like, who didn't know what was happening right there? Who did not know? Like, we ran that play, is something similar to it. How many times this year? And it went the same way.
It's been it's been a few times.
So we know when we see him back there, you know we going to it.
Let me add a third play to it. I just remembered it. We have this little fake screen draw that we run, and it's been fairly successful. Every time we've ran it, Ricard has been the fullback and led on the draw. This time we had Likely there to lead on the draw, and we all know Likely ain't a inline blocker. That was the third play. So that's what, like y'all saying, him trying to throw a wrinkle in there that we didn't need, trying to get cute for no reason. Likely is not going to take a linebacker on head on and open up a hole for a running back. 42 will. Yeah. That were two situations where 42 would getting the ball or doing something would have been great, and I wouldn't say a word, but he take him out.
Yeah.
Like Hendo said, he could have got the ball at the goal line. That would have been a reasonable play. And then on that draw. Because Likely just went in there kind of patty cake. He didn't want that smoke.
I would have rather have seen any of that over the play that they called. It was like you said, I get your point, Coach. Like, he didn't call
a bad game,
right? But it's just those few moments where he got cute and he got away from what was working. Like, it seemed like, he started. Giro seemed like one of those coaches where he's doing what they need to do. All right, man, we just running at you. We gonna run it at you. We coming head up, right? And then he sees success in it, and then he's like, oh, you know what? It's working. Let me try this. Let me dial up some shit that I have no business dialing up. Instead of sticking to the game plan, just flat out running the ball. And instead of getting cute, like, no one's falling for your cute plays. Your cute plays aren't like Kansas City's cute plays. Your cute plays aren't like Philly's cute plays, right? Like, everybody knows what you're doing with your cute plays. It's only so many options out there that you can get a ball to. So he just got away albeit the moments were crucial, but they were just a few moments where he just got away from the game plan instead of sticking to it. And if he would have done that, it possibly would have been a different outcome. Yeah. But those few moments, he get cute, and that just takes us out of whatever we got going on.
Crazy thing is when you get to the playoffs, you kind of take what you've done and trying to put a thing or two in there that's new. Mm-hmm. He didn't put anything new in there. He just took people in different positions and put them in different positions,
right?
And still ran the same stuff,
right?
Which was crazy to me. The thing is, if you do football all day, every day, you should be better at this. Mm-hmm. If that's that's all you got. Mm-hmm. Not to say the execution gonna be perfect, because it's not. But if football is all you got all day, every day, we should see a better product. Because it's like it'd be different. It's like you run the same. Like Mike sent me a playbook, a Romans playbook for San Francisco. It's a lot of that same stuff being ran yesterday. Like exactly like it is in that book from 10 years ago or 12 years ago, however old it is. And that's crazy. Like, to evolve, you should have your base stuff, understandably. But evolve at some point, evolve and adapt. But all he did was put different people in different spots. Still run the same plays. The only thing he did different that I liked was the outside zone stuff. Go ahead, Chris.
And especially with as long as he's been in here, like, you want to see progression. Like, you get the first year, like, you got that base stuff, like you said. But you want to see it progress. And there's never been that progression. I mean, they had the COVID season. All right, that was the excuse. Last year they had injuries. That was the excuse. This year, I know some of the there's still Roman supporters that are like, well, look at the wide receivers. And it's like, well, damn. He got a running back. He got a running backs. He got a good offensive line. That's what he does, right? He runs the ball.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, we talk about receivers. Say we had 3 decent receivers. Say we had Bateman and two guys equal to Bateman's skill set. Mm-hmm. We still would be having these issues because they wouldn't be on the field.
It's all situational.
They wouldn't be on the field.
I don't think so, Coach. So
we still have 2 and 3 tight ends because he don't have pass concepts for 3 decent receivers.
It doesn't make a difference because after a certain point in time, if you have 3 capable, competent wide receivers, and we get to a 17-game season, and our leading receiver has 600 yards, somebody's going to get fired. Now he doesn't have an excuse. The excuse now is look at the wide receiver room. See, we build excuses in for Harbaugh, for Greg Roman. So when something goes wrong, we can say, look at that right there. This is why it didn't work. And that's why when people always say don't give him talented players because he's not going to use them, it's going to hold him accountable. You bring a DeAndre Hopkins in here and let him end the season with 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Everybody's getting fired. You know what I'm saying? So bring
the difference is Hopkins makes that catch that Prochet can't make.
Facts.
And Hopkins ain't going to finish the season with 400 yards and 2 touchdowns unless he played 4 games. Like, Greg Roman can't stop talented players from doing things that talented players do. But like you said, it's a built-in excuse for, hey, I mean, I called a bad game. Our backup quarterback fumbled the ball. What could we have done? I don't know. You could have traded for a wide receiver instead of Roquan Smith, and then you wouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. Or drafted George Pickens, or drafted T. Higgins, or drafted Jahan Dotson, or traded up for Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave, or traded for Stephon Diggs, or traded for Tyreek Hill, or traded for A.J. Brown. Any number of things you could have done.
Are you still talking about Prochet?
Who?
Yo, are you still talking about him? And you tell somebody get off somebody's sack or something? Yo, we've been off that for 5 minutes.
Well, the only person on Prochet's sack is you, my man. Like nobody thinks he can play but you.
I just got a question though. This is a serious question for afterwards. Like, what's the plan? What should be the plan for Prochet going forward? In your opinion,
that is a good question.
Like, what do you want to see?
Ask him a serious question, like he's
I want to know what he sees, what's his expectations for Prochet, and
because when he got his opportunity,
they'll tell you. Everybody up here tell you I'm one of the biggest Prochet homers it is.
Facts.
And
that's how this show. That's
about
how
game
this
10, about 10 or 11 or 12. I'm like, maybe I was wrong.
That's how the show started, Mike.
Maybe I was wrong. Sure, matter of fact, it sure did. It sure did.
That's how it started.
It sure did.
But my thing is
over Prochet.
because the thing was when he got his opportunity, like y'all begged him to get, he dropped the ball many times. Mr. Short-handed receiver had an opportunity, and he proved he wasn't ready for the moment. So they stopped putting him on the field. But now you want to make excuses saying, "Oh, the ball wasn't intended for him." You get paid to make football plays. The ball hit him in his hands, and he's supposed to be so sure-handed because y'all love to talk about what he did in college. Oh, he caught everything around him, the contested catches, but now when he's in the pros, it's built-in excuses once again why he didn't get certain things done or he didn't get playing time. We have the worst wide receiver room in the NFL, and you're telling me there are dudes on this team he can't beat out? So apparently he must not be that talented.
I hate to even go in on him like that, man. I got nothing against Prochet.
I love Prochet. Like that's my
you know what I'm saying? I got nothing against him.
But he's not that talented.
Yeah, like especially when like some of y'all just be making these comparisons to like real talented wide receivers, man. It's just like, man, go watch some of these other games. Just go look at how some of these wide receivers play and tell me that's what we have over here. All right. And it's deeper than Prochet, man. Like, Tylan Wallace, there's some people like, hey, Tylan Wallace is enough, Duvernay is enough. Like, nah, man.
Yes,
enough.
We were clowning DeMarcus, and yes, he made a very good play. But
he's wide open.
The route he ran, he made a very good play. And yes, we were clowning him, and we're going to clown him tomorrow. He made a good play against Eli Apple. Yes, congratulations to him. He still ain't shit.
Facts.
That is.
Like, why would we not clown DeMarcus Robinson? I don't understand. Like,
I clown DeMarcus more than I do Prochet.
What kind of dumbass point are you even trying to make, man? Like,
he want to hear himself talk.
He trying to get on the show.
He wants somebody to respond to him.
He said, Coach, send the link.
Right. Listen, we all are giving our opinions, just like you're giving your opinion. I don't know why you feel like your opinion is more right than anybody else's.
All right.
He's entitled. It's all good.
Yeah, everybody's entitled.
He's taking up for his people, yo. I
get it. And like I said, I have my opinion, but I don't think that I'm right about everything that I think. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you, hey, Mike, you wrong about that. What's your problem?
I'll tell you what, Hendo. I'll tell you what. This is in defense of Iowa Horse.
Be scared.
if you made the Ravens team today, I'm gonna go out there and tell everybody you the best wide receiver on the team. All right, because we boys. All right, that's his boy. They tight like that. They used to be roommates back in SMU, right? Isn't that where? Yeah, they're roommates at SMU. That's what he said. So I mean, he's sticking up for his
I
people.
don't give a fuck if that's his brother. I don't care. He sucks. That motherfucker sucks. Like enough with the bullshit. Like
you got
he
Chris
sucks.
pissed.
Enough. Like turn on the film. Show me where he's busting everybody's ass, lining up one-on-one, busting people's ass. He's not doing it in the pros. You could like him all you want. I love Tylan Wallace. He's not doing shit in the pros.
Yep.
But guess what? That motherfucker's not good right now in the NFL. Simple as that. Move on. Do your shit on the other side. We talking about something else right now.
All right.
Thanks.
Next
All
up,
right, let's move on.
Kyle Hamilton. Hendo.
Hendo.
I tuned in last night.
Oh, so
Hendo.
you did this intentionally.
I sure did. I tuned in last night, and when I tuned in, I think you were giving your players of the game when I got to it, and you gave Kyle Hamilton some props.
Play
So
the game.
I would like for you to elaborate on this channel, on this channel, what you thought about how Kyle Hamilton's play.
He was defensive player of the game for me. I want to say him and Owe. So I'm gonna give Owe his props too. He was out there flying around, bull rushing. He was doing his thing. But Kyle Hamilton would have 9 tackles, forced fumble from recovery. Kyle Hamilton was doing his thing. I can't take nothing from him. Defensive player of the game for me.
And he didn't finish it with a little bit of shade. You know how Hendo do.
Sure did.
He played well. Yeah.
Hendo,
Yeah, he
I was
played.
waiting
He
for it.
played.
I was waiting for it.
He played well. You can't say nothing bad about his play. Yeah.
That's
Hendo
why I didn't say nothing. I was waiting for
Yeah.
Hendo to just add that little cherry on top.
Yeah,
Right.
Hendo give you props and be like, I mean, but it was against such and such stuff.
No, well,
I have a
Hayden
question though.
now listen, I will say Owe did play against the third string offensive line.
Oh, here
I'm
we
just
go.
trying to say that though. With Kyle Hamilton, I got nothing bad to say.
Let me ask y'all though, like, does always play last night, and his rookie year? 'Cause I thought he had a good rookie season. Like, do you feel good about him going into next year? Like, Coach, I know you said that you felt like part of his issue this year is that he bulked up too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets a little leaner, gets a little bit more sound with his technique. Do you feel good about Owe moving forward?
Like somebody asked me yesterday, would you consider Owe a bust? And I told him if this was horse, he'd have to be you. He'd have to be you.
Right.
I think next year is going to. I think he's played at a certain weight and had been able to move and have a little bit of success. And now he's bulked up into his quote unquote grown man body, and he hasn't had much success. So this offseason, he needs to find that happy medium where he can still move and be twitchy like he was, but still have the strength to like bull rush the crap like he did that guard last night. Because he was bull rushing the crap out of the backup guard that took Kappa's place. He was going to work on him. So I just think he just needs to find that happy medium as far as strength and athleticism, so he can get back on the same page that he was coming out. He was projected because potential wise, him and Ojabo could be dangerous. Potential wise, not they ain't did nothing, in front of us yet. They still paper champs, so to speak. But I can see the potential of having him on one side and Ojabo on another side, and them boys eat. I can see that, but they got to figure it out.
Okay.
And I think with that, like, he can't be you can't go into the next year depending on him to be the main dude, in my opinion.
About
like,
to say the same thing, Chris.
I'm a fan of his. I think, the arrow is pointing up, but I think you can't do it like that. It just seems like that's the way the Ravens do things, where it's like, you know what, we can count on him next year. Like, he'll be that dude next year. And I don't think they should do that. I think they should still add a dude or bring the veterans back, because I would love to see Justin Houston come back. But what you hope is he takes that next step, like Coach was saying. But I was encouraged by last night. When they needed him, in a big time game, he came through, and he even did it against their starter. He did it against Jonah Williams, where he pushed Jonah Williams back right into Joe Burrow's lap. So, it's pointing up, but hopefully he could build off of it, because there were too many almost plays from him. and almost just doesn't cut it.
And I wanted to give him props when he did that to Jonah, but NBC put up a stat right after that. I'm like, oh, I see why not. Jonah Williams just gave up the most sacks for this season.
Right.
12.
Right.
So
we play him twice next year. So
yeah,
that's
No, but I agree. I was gonna say the same thing, Chris. Like he's a guy that has to be a part of a rotation. You could tell he's that type of guy. Like when you don't have any expectation for him, like he makes a play and and you start to see the flashes out of him. Like even I seen in the chat where they saying he's not as fast as they say he was, but it was impressive for him to run from one side of the field to tackle Barrow. Right. And I mean that I thought that was impressive to show his speed, his sideline to sideline speed right there. But yeah, he can't be the guy. Right, definitely not right now. But if he's in the rotation, a solid rotation, hopefully Ojabo and Bowser, and like you said, if my man JPP come back, shout out to Big Reg and Justin Houston and them, and he can be within that rotation. I think he'll be solid.
Yeah, let me address this right there because a lot of people don't know. Hold on, we'll come back to it. What are my thoughts on Lamar? I was pretty disappointed he didn't travel. Simply put, hurt people don't travel.
Yeah,
keep it going. That's what a lot of people don't know. They kept asking. He should have been there. Hurt people don't travel. If you see Lamar on the sideline, it's home games.
Yeah, especially especially not to cut you off, Coach, but it's been well documented that he's still experiencing some swelling, and you don't want to be flying if you got any swelling or anything going on. So
you can develop blood clots.
Yeah,
my ankle is. I think I got. They told me what I got, but it's like former arthritis, and it flared up right before Thanksgiving, and it was manageable. But when I flew home, when I got home, boy, I needed tears. I could barely move. Flying don't help. All that pressure in the cabin and all that don't help with swelling.
Right.
So just everybody let that die. That's a narrative that people trying to and it's just for they don't know. That's all. They just don't know. They don't know like hurt people generally don't travel. Generally they don't travel.
I think a lot of people on that side they want it to be something. Like the people bringing it up, they want it to be an issue. Oh, he got to be out there, to cheer his teammates on, and they want to put that narrative.
Some don't know, and some want to push the narrative.
Like I think that person that asked in the chat genuinely wanted to know, but I see other people pushing that narrative, and we know what part of the fan base that doesn't shower that is. That wants to do that kind of stuff.
It reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson. Remember, he got hurt in the playoffs, and it was a whole big story that he was standing on the sidelines wearing a coat. Like it was cold, and he just had the coat on.
Right.
And then that became him not being a leader, not being a good teammate, and all this stuff because he is standing on the sidelines wearing a coat.
Right.
Right. So it's the same kind of thing.
And keeping it real made a good point. He said, Tua didn't travel with this team. Nobody said a word about it.
Exactly.
Have y'all ever seen a team like beat reporters track the number of practices that a quarterback has missed?
It was really weird how everybody all of a sudden, all at once, oh man, that's 38 days he's been out.
He missed 16 straight practices. Like what?
Never seen.
Ain't nobody practicing right now any damn way. Like, come on, man.
Hey, Tyler, what is it? Tyler Cunningham? Don't threaten me with a good time. Do not threaten me with a good time.
If that's the case, please let it happen on Wednesday.
I said it
Wednesday morning.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to have to do it in the street tomorrow.
I think he's stepping down. I've been saying that. I think he steps down.
Josina Anderson called it.
It's time, man.
She said that today?
No,
she said somebody.
Off season, she said
tenured coach.
One of the longest tenured coaches is going to step down.
And Belichick already said he coming back. So
he said not me.
It's between Harbaugh and Tomlin.
So who is the appreciate you, Daryl, for joining in. You missed a whole great season. You missed a great season, but just make sure you stay here. We gonna keep this thing rolling. Appreciate you for coming through your first time. Who are the longest tenured guys? Harbaugh, Belichick, and Tomlin.
Tomlin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tomlin ain't going nowhere.
I can't
We
say
don't
Tomlin.
think. We don't think.
The
Maybe
way he finished, I don't think he's going nowhere.
But listen, the fans over there don't appreciate him.
No,
I can see that.
The organization
the
does.
organization does.
They love him.
They do.
I think he's in one of those situations. It was the same thing when what's his name was coaching Cincinnati. Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis.
Mhm.
There was a year where he was ready to go, and Cincinnati gave him more money to stay. Right, because I mean, yes, they choked a lot in the playoffs, but they're making the playoffs every year, right? And I think it's the same thing with the Steelers. You know, you've won a Super Bowl with him. He's been to another Super Bowl, and you don't have losing records with him. Even if he says, "I'm kind of tired of this whole thing. I want to just chill for a little bit," they will talk him into staying. Right? Like,
I think the thing that works against Tomlin is, you know, they waiting for him to have a losing season. Right? It'll be one losing season, and then it'll trump everything that he's done in the past. And you've heard it. That narrative was floating around the last 2 years when it seemed like it was close that he would have a losing season. That it was, he's not as great as he's supposed to be, or he's not the greatest coach as they say he is, or whatever. So they put it on him. But he got one thing working against him that I'll let y'all take a wild guess on what that is. But for the most part, I think that he should be secure. I think it's Harbs. At first, I thought it may be Belichick, but if he's saying that he's coming back, then. But I think Harbs. I think Harbs going to step down. I think Harbs going to go the Sean Payton route. He's going to get a cushy TV job for a year, and then you'll hear his name floating around as a hot commodity the year following.
Maybe. Or maybe it'll be like Jim, and he tries desperately to get back in only to find out nobody actually wants him. He's enthusiastically going back to Michigan.
Right. Him and his khakis. Let's talk about this all-season plan. That's the second topic we got. Where would you like this, other than Harbaugh, because we already kind of transitioned into not wanting him around and hoping he leave and whatnot. Personnel-wise, because we know we don't like the coaches. Personnel-wise, what would you like to see happen? Jose?
I would love to see Byron Leftwich be our next head coach. I think Byron Leftwich, because he's worked with Bruce Arians for so long, as a player, being coached by him and just on his coaching staff, has developed some good relationships with some good coaches, like a good coaching staff. In fact, I think unless Arians wants to come back, I could see Arians, helping out in like an assistant role or consultant role or something like that, to make sure Leftwich really gets off the ground well. But I would love to see Byron Leftwich here coaching Lamar. I think some special things could happen for years to come if we make that move.
Chris?
This is just coaching, or
Yeah, we can start with coaching and then work our way to players. I think coaching, we all got our theories, so let's just hear your theories coaching wise.
Coaching, I would like to bring somebody in from the Eagles coaching tree. Somebody I brought up, I think a few weeks ago on here.
The QB coach, right?
Yeah, from the Eagles, Brian Johnson. He has experience being an offensive coordinator and calling plays. He was at Florida. He was at Houston. He was Dak's quarterback coach at Mississippi State. Helped bring along Jalen Hurts, who's having a crazy year. And I just like that philosophy of because when I want them to get a bona fide number one wide receiver, is not to just become the Rams back in the day where they just throwing the ball all around. I still would like to be a running team, and I think the Eagles have that best balance where it's like you can put a heavy emphasis on the running game, but that doesn't mean that your passing game has to be garbage. Right. And I think getting from that tree, I feel like that would benefit the Ravens the most as far as what the Ravens philosophically have always wanted to do, which is run the ball, but also be able to take the passing game to the next level.
Hendo?
Is this any dream scenario we want?
Yeah.
All right then, Sean McVay. So if he decides that he's leaving the Rams, I would
He said he's
love.
coming back.
He said he coming back, man.
Man, it's pumpkin. Okay. I'm sorry. So then, my second choice would probably. I know that a lot of people want to go the offensive route for a head coach, but Brian Flores, what he did down there in Miami with that team holding them together after a 1-8 start, like I think we need that leadership. I think he brings discipline, and that is something that this team has sorely been missing since Harbaugh has been the head coach. He's a winner, so I'll take Brian Flores any day of the week. Suge, you can kick rocks.
Hey, real quick. Let me get to that. Let me get to Crochet's boyfriend.
That's hilariously stupid, yeah.
Because
you still read the comments?
I didn't realize that was up there. Go ahead.
Coach put it up.
No, I didn't realize. I just was reading. I wasn't seeing where they was from. I just was reading and clicking.
That's a whole different regime. That was Andy Reid's regime. This is a whole different regime, and this is not a special teams coach. This is a guy
John Harbaugh's a Nick Sirianni guy.
like, come on, what are you talking about? Like, what is this dude talking about, man?
Wasn't Doug Peterson under Andy Reid?
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Didn't he win a Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
recently.
So he came from the same place as John Harbaugh too, who also won a Super Bowl.
Joe said, "Stop talking tough on the internet."
I don't talk tough on the internet. I live in New York. If you're around here, we could meet up anytime you want. I don't talk tough on the internet. Trust me.
I was about to say, meet me in Temecula. Y'all don't remember that. Y'all don't remember that joint.
My thing is, and Will really bust me out because that's why I was going with it. And it's different. I would take D'Amico Ryans and Reed. I know everybody say we want an offensive guy, but hear me out. I take D'Amico Ryans, and actually, hopefully, he would bring somebody under Shanahan with him. Like maybe bring like I probably won't bring the OC because that's a lateral move, but maybe he gets somebody and bring like whoever is the next guy under the OC that knows the offense.
You don't
and
want
can
that
run
guy.
it like that.
That guy.
Who is that guy?
Win.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand Anthony Lynn for what happened to Tyrod.
Yeah, he's the assistant head coach and I think running backs coach in San Francisco right now.
No, get the O-line coach then. Whoever the O-line.
I believe the O-line coach. If correct me if I'm wrong, Jose. That's the one who was doing coke in the Dolphins.
Oh, just
Dolphins. It's just Kyle over there.
Forget it. Mike,
knows how to party.
who you think, Mike?
I need an offensive guy, man. Give me anybody. Well, okay, I'll say this. As head coach, I would like an offensive guy, but I still believe in people like Bieniemy and something like somebody like that. So I agree with Chris too. So one of those two situations, Eagles, KC. I need something from those trees. Now, offensive coordinator wise, I'll take anybody on Kansas City staff. Right? If we just hiring an offense. Let's say Harb stays another year, but we need an offensive coordinator. He needs to pick somebody from Kansas City staff. I don't care who it is, just one of the offensive guys. But head coach wise, man, this is what I would like to see from the head coach position. I really don't have a choice or a name, but it just has to be a different person, somebody from outside of at this point. I'll take anybody now, because it's just like anybody with a different voice. I would love to see that because we haven't seen it here in a long time, right? So somebody outside of the building, somebody that's going to bring a different voice, a different philosophy. I'll take that. I'll let y'all choose who that is, but it just got to be outside of this building.
And that's when we seen
Petrino was his coach in college, and he
can be OC.
OC at he just got hired as OC at Texas A&M. Go ahead, Chris.
Bobby Petrino's never getting an NFL job.
Oh no.
The way he quit, nah.
No, I was gonna say to what Mike said. That's when they had the most, that's when they had the most continuity on offense. Is when they brought someone in from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they brought Kubiak in, and that wasn't a Harbaugh hire.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need.
True. B. This is kind of because you in competition. You trying to get a new coach. So I ain't know if you want to tap in on this one or not.
There are a lot of great candidates out there right now. There
no,
really
Nick.
There really are. But if I'm trying to be realistic with Baltimore, or somewhat realistic with Baltimore, Ken's going to Carolina. I mean, he's not, but I wish. But
that's what he wants. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If I'm picking for Baltimore, and we're trying to make John Harbaugh feel okay walking away, usher John on out, I'm picking Jim Caldwell, who did a very good job with the Colts and the Lions. Who's known as a QB guru, who he took Peyton Manning to another level, took Matt Stafford. He had him playing the best of his career. And in this scenario, hopefully we're keeping Lamar and having him actually grow under Jim Caldwell.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happens with Greg.
Speaking of Lamar, you go ahead, B. I'm gonna look for something while you finish.
Outside of Caldwell, I mean, if we're not talking about, like Mike said, anybody from the outside, Ken Dorsey's my favorite of the current candidates, just because of the work he did with Cam Newton and Josh Allen. But I do also like the OC out of Detroit in Ben Johnson, who apparently is the front runner to get the Panthers job, is what I'm hearing now. But I think he did a great job, bringing Jared Goff back from the brink of irrelevance and being out of the league to having a pretty solid season for the Lions. They started off really poorly, but they turned things around, and that offense got red hot.
Yep.
I'm not a real big fan of defensive-minded head coaches, just because I think they're generally too conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like Hendo said, Brian Flores is the best of that group, and he's a guy who's shown it already.
Right. I take Flores too, but somebody sent me this, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. It was supposed to be from Bisciotti. It says, and I couldn't find it before we started, but my time was running out too. It says, so Bisciotti is determined to hold on to his franchise quarterback. It makes life easier for everyone. And this is a quote, but I haven't found it yet. It says, without a quarterback you believe in, life sucks as an NFL owner and as a fan base. Bisciotti said, we appreciate him. All I know is that his teammates love him. The front office loves him. So it's like, you just keep doing you, Lamar, and we'll make it work. Now, somebody sent this to me. I don't know if it's true. I couldn't find it on Twitter or anything. So have you guys even seen this?
The only thing I heard close to that was what Ian Rappaport reported is that the Ravens are planning to either get him signed or have him play out the year on the franchise tag, but they're not really looking to trade him. Mm-hmm. But that's that's all I heard.
And what I did see today also was that currently, I mean, obviously there's a lot of moves to be made and everything. Players are going to be leaving. Guys can get restructured, whatever. But currently they can't even afford to franchise him under the cap. They have about $41 million right now, and it's $45 for the franchise tag.
The Cowboys kicking them is 3 extra points.
Oh my God! But that means they scored 3 touchdowns though.
They kicking butt. They kicking butt.
Brady's looking horrible.
Let's talk about personnel wise. What would you like to see? Obviously, other than Lamar come back.
Other than Lamar, so we just assume Lamar's staying for now.
Yes.
Okay.
Me personally, I need a revamped receiver room. I'm gonna leave it at that.
What you mean? They got Prochet.
There you go, talking tough again. Talking tough on the internet.
leave my dog out of it.
I want you guys to Google "Meet Me in Temecula" and read that story. Read that story on somebody who on Twitter, early days of Twitter, wanted to fight somebody over Kobe. Snotty dripping, yeah. And Snotty said, well, meet me in Temecula and let's throw down. And that dude went all the way to Temecula, Arizona
on Christmas.
Yes. Wow. To fight somebody who wasn't there.
Something happened like this. They used to have this podcast here in Florida called the Big Three Roll-Up. And the Big Three was Florida State, Miami, and Florida. And so the guys, they had a back and forth or whatever. And dude, dropped his addy. Shit, 3 hours later, dude showed up. and it was recorded, and it went down, and the dude that showed up, it didn't end well for him, but it happened.
That's kind of the story, except there was nobody there.
Nobody there.
What do they call that podcast now with the current state of the Hurricanes?
They call it
Seminoles.
the roll up or something like that, and then each
lay
person has their own, like, there's 3 guys, and it's new. It's only one original guys left, but there's 3 guys, and they come together and do a big 3, but they call it something else. And then each one of them has their own separate about their school. I think Florida Stadium and Gale. I forget what Miami's and Florida State's is, but it's cool. I can't. There's a dude, the Florida dude reminds me of Zim, and so I can't take it. Zim for the Bengals, and I can't take him how he does what he does. But it was cool for a minute. But personnel wise, I said receiver room. Hendo, you go. What you think personnel wise? What should change?
Receiver room, offensive coordinator. Listen. I know people are gonna say I'm wrong about this, but we need a better offensive line. Were they serviceable? Most definitely. Did they do better than we expected? They sure did. Mm-hmm. But as far as a dominating offensive line goes, we could do better.
I think what you're going to see offensive line wise, you're going to see Falele take that right spot, and then Cleveland take that left spot, because Powers is probably gone. He's a free agent.
Good. He looks horrible.
But according to Joe D, he got the award for best O-line this year.
Well, this year, no. Powers has been playing out his mind this year. He's been playing a lot better than we thought he has. But when the stakes were the highest yesterday,
shit.
All them boys, man.
I was about to say our franchise left tackle was getting smacked up too. So it just wasn't.
It wasn't just him.
Yeah, it wasn't just him.
Zeitler had problems
too. Yeah, Zeitler. Yeah.
That damn holding at the end of the game.
But Ben has played. He's probably been the most stable, and consistent one there that we've had. I think you said this too one time, Coach. I don't think he's missed a game.
I don't think so.
I think he's the only one that's been there the entire season.
Yeah. I remember when we first started, we were like, his best attribute is his availability.
Yeah.
That was his best attribute.
Yeah.
And once he won a job, I'm cool with him staying there unless he got hurt, because those guys need continuity. They need to learn each other in and outs. So, even though I'm a big Cleveland fan, once Powers won the job, I ain't want him to mess with the rotation. Yeah. I ain't want to mess with the rotation at all. Mike, what would you like to see personnel-wise?
You already know that wide receiver room got to change. That has to change, and they need not just bringing in new faces, but they got to bring in they need a splash there. Whether it's they're saying D-Hop is available, they should have been calling 2 weeks ago if that's the case. So they need a splash acquisition like that, and draft a wide receiver. Like we gotta fix that room, no question.
Do you think we're gonna get D-Hop? I'm sorry. You think we're gonna get D-Hop? Because I think his cap hit for next year is like 23 and then 36 mil or something like that.
Don't matter.
I don't know.
It don't matter. It don't matter for other teams, but it do for us.
So I mean, if in our fantasy world, and Harbaugh's gone, and the next coach that comes in and says, "Hey, we're changing up the system a little bit." You can work the numbers, man. Like the numbers can get worked out. But we can get D-Hop under. Yeah, but it depends on a new coach if he wants D-Hop or go somewhere else with it.
Typically, when you move those guys, they want to rework the deal, so you can make it friendly for at least 2 years. You know what I mean? But they're gonna have to get Lamar done too to do anything.
My thing is with D-Hop, I think he's at a point in his career where he want to win.
Mm-hmm.
So he, not just take a shit contract, but he worked with some folks. Because I think somebody said he had a no trade contract, a clause, which I do think he does have a no trade clause, so he can kind of pick who they want to go to or whatnot. Oh, and one more thing, people was talking about getting Clint Kingsbury for OC. Clint has bought a one-way ticket to Thailand.
Yes,
man. And has told people he's not interested.
He ain't working. I'm getting paid.
If you see his girl, he's never coming back.
Matter of fact, that's the tweet I saw. It was of her. They were saying, "Miss, we know he's not in a hurry to come back because Miss Kingsbury or whoever, I don't know if he married or not, but she was over there with him." So
it's listen. I'm getting paid to do nothing. Yeah, okay. I ain't coming back.
Nothing I'm about to do then.
So there's only one winner on that team. That's me.
Jose, personnel wise.
I mean, we all gonna say wide receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously. Yeah, I mean, D-Hop, obviously that's the move we should have made to begin with. But if not, you have to get creative with how we get talent on this team, whether it's via trade. You know, there'll be D-Hop ain't gonna be the only wide receiver out there that's gonna be available. There'll be some other ones, and we have to act on it. Or if we see some guy in the draft that we like and we have to move up a little bit, then we have to be aggressive and move up. Like we have to do what it takes to get like some short talent.
This year we don't have the capital like talking about it.
No,
like we should have did this year.
True. Yeah, no, I agree. So I mean, they're gonna have to get creative with it, but they have to find a way. It doesn't have to be another. I mean, it doesn't have to be a great wide receiver necessarily. It could be two really good, solid wide receivers to kind of fill out that. Yeah, Perry Bateman, exactly. O-line is another one. Yeah, I agree. I think we gotta bring in some more guys. I mean, we gotta see what Falele turns into, but we can't rely on potential.
Right.
So we have to shore up that O-line. And honestly, I would say get one more. This isn't a high priority, but I'll say running back. Right. Stop bringing in these guys for 1 year to come in and fill out the running back room. Get you another good running back that you like, and it can be JK and that person, because I don't think Gus is going to stay here much longer. So JK and another good running back, and that can be your 1-2 punch, and give them carries.
Right.
So yeah. That's it for me. You see my t-shirt. Defund the defense. Leave the defense alone. Don't put any more money into the defense.
We'll say we need a corner and somebody that can roam the slot. But if Chuck stays, they're gonna leave Kyle there because they can do so much with him. Now the downside to leaving Kyle there is you get one of those quick, twitchy slot receivers gonna eat his lunch. The good side about it is you can do a bunch of different things with Kyle running that slot corner situation. I think we call it the big nickel. But and Batty should have still been here. Somebody just put it in there. Batty should have.
Sure.
Like that little taste of clip we got from him, that boy look explosive.
Right. Coach, like talking about Kyle in the slot, I think that stands out more in the red zone, right? When they put him in the slot in the red zone, he gets eaten.
You look at the snap sheet, he played down there the whole game.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like I can live with that exploit as long as they're making that change in the red zone. I think don't put him in that situation in the red zone. In between the 20s.
Oh, you're talking about covering the smaller. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah. I mean, I don't have any real problems with how they're running the defense. But this is why I didn't want them to invest so much in the defense, because here we are. We put all this money in the defense, and we could easily say next year Justin Houston may not come back. Right, Calais Campbell may not come back. JPP may not come back, and these are like big factors on our defense. Do we have to replace them? We already talking about Marcus Peters is going to be gone. We got to replace him. We have to constantly replenish the defense, and it costs money, right? And that's where your money gets tied up, and we have needs on the offense. So I think next year's going to have to be a year where we'll have to do more with less.
Yeah, brilliantly just putting it out to me. He done with Peters, man. Hendo saw me. I was so frustrated with Peters, man. That cat, and I respect his game. I respect his mentality, but he was doing too much. Yeah. As the kids say, he's doing too much.
I like Peters, man. I would like to see Peters back, obviously on a friendly deal, but I would like to see him back just because of the mindset. And I don't think he was ever 100% healthy this year. But I like that he got in their face a little bit, you know what I mean, and let them know, like, man, we here, we don't care, we hear y'all talking that y'all this and that, we here. So I appreciate the tone that he sets in the tone he puts over that locker room. We just don't have that's another issue that we had in this organization. Like we kind of pushed all of those type of players out.
Yep.
You know, once Ray and them left, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, we want choir boys, right? You know, and it hasn't been the same since we got rid of those type of players. You know, Bernard Pilot, those guys who are willing to speak up and question coaching and question the coaches and keep them accountable. And I think Peters is that guy. So I would like to see him back on a team friendly deal, but you know, who knows how that will work out.
Because if they don't resign him or bring him back, what are they going to do now? Go get 2 more corners? How many corners are we going to draft, pick up in free agency before we say enough is enough?
We got Pepe and Jalen Davis.
Oh.
They just need opportunity.
Oh, like the wide receivers?
Yeah.
We trust our guys.
Yeah.
B, what you think?
I'll say first, you know, in regards to Marcus Peters, like once you start saying on a team friendly deal, it means you know he ain't worth it. That guy ain't worth it, and just move on. But like Jose is saying, you don't get anything. You don't get any draft picks. You don't get any free agent signings. It's got to be Williams and it's got to be Armour Davis. You drafted them in the 4th round. They have to go out there and play. And if they're going to get better, they've got to play to do it. You got to put Brandon Stevens back out there. And you know what? We got a new coaching staff. Maybe some guys will actually develop, right?
Give me Peters over Brandon Stevens.
What about Peters over Worley?
Yes.
I'll take him over Worley too. And
that's the problem though, right? Like we sit here saying, man, Peters ain't that guy, but who's better?
No, I'll take those young guys with a new defensive coordinator and a new secondary coach over trotting Peters back out there again. You know exactly what you're going to get with Peters.
We got a new DC.
I mean, no, but
a new DC.
In our scenario, we have a new DC who's not John Harbaugh's nephew. But to answer the question, obviously it's wide receiver, and it's got to be to the point where, you know, Rashad Bateman is essentially the only one back. I mean, I know Devin Duvernay is the special teams guy. He can be the 5th receiver. He can't be on the field. You got to bring in a whole crew of wide receivers, and you need Kyle
trash.
No, I'm just saying I forgot he was even on the team. He got hurt, so
yeah.
He's a free agent though, right?
I'm not sure.
I think he signed a 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year deal.
But yeah,
is he a free agent?
I believe so.
Okay,
I think he signed a 1 year
deal.
deal.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. But yeah, you go out and you get a true number 1 receiver, whether that's DeAndre Hopkins or whether you talk somebody else into trading their guy, and then you know you sign somebody in free agency that you know can play, and we're talking about drafting somebody as well. And you don't have to overhaul the O-line, but you got to do some work there because they were serviceable, but they're a better run blocking line than a pass blocking line, and we're about to be throwing the ball.
Yeah. I agree.
Facts. And I forgot about Fuller. I don't know how well he'll perform in that spot, but he's
coach.
He's there.
The same way he did in Denver.
See, I don't know too much about him in Denver.
Not good.
I didn't.
One of the worst.
Not good at all.
So okay, saying that, well, why was he valuable to us? Why would we?
Because y'all are lazy.
The scouting department, you mean?
Well, I would say your GM, excuse me, is lazy, and they go for names. They go for old names. You know, hey, I remember that guy from 6 years ago. I played him that one time. He played pretty well. Let's go get him. I mean, why was Sammy Watkins back? I mean, you witnessed that firsthand and brought him back. Why was Deshaun Jackson here? For what?
Because
you know he can't play anymore.
Andy Isabella.
Why the hell is Andy Isabella anywhere?
I do like Fuller agent. He just can't play.
Yeah, sure, he's a nice guy.
He played in Chicago. Now he was balling in Chicago.
Consensus is the wide receiver room, and I think that's the main thing holding back. I think that's holding everything back. I think that would unlock with the new OC. That would unlock 8. And as much as we love Lamar and what he did in his MVP year, I think if you bring a guy in here that treats him like a quarterback and not a runner, let his legs be extra, the icing, and not be in the game plan, you would see the offense go crazy. Not saying he throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns, but we score a whole lot of points because we score early and often, and then we put pressure on people to try to do stuff that they're not accustomed to doing, and we can get turnovers and stuff like that. Because if we get leads, and this is what happened in 2019, I'm not saying we should go back to that, but we would get leads and then put pressure on people to do stuff that they weren't comfortable with doing, and we just put our foot on their neck. And that's why Lamar ended up sitting out 4 or 5 fourth quarters that year. Because we get those leads, then they do something that wasn't in their game plan, and then we get back on.
And he still led the league in touchdown passes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think, my bad, B. I think an important thing too is for them to operate as if they can't count on Bateman. Like, I think that's an important thing. Like, you can't operate and be like, oh yeah, we got Bateman. Yeah. You have to operate like we cannot count on him to stay healthy. And if he does, cool. Like, that's the cherry on top. And this is not writing him off or anything like that. This is just, insurance for your insurance, like my man Kerry says. He says you always got to have the backup plan. And I feel like if you have him, like, look at what the Eagles did. Like, they had Smith, and they didn't just rely on, all right, we got Smith. We drafted him high in the first round. Like, that's it. No, they brought in another dude who can elevate and bring Bateman's level. I mean, not Bateman. Bring Brown's level to, Smith's level. Yeah, bring him to another level. And I feel like if they do that with Bateman, sky's the limit. It could be, in my opinion.
Oh, you mean bring Queens up, play up to the next level?
Yeah, that's on the other side of the ball. See, they do it on that side of the ball.
Okay.
Yeah,
but just not on.
I can see that. I can see that happening or should happen. Because if I'm a receiver and they bring in this guy, if I'm supposed to be the guy and they bring in the guy, I'm gonna step my game up. I'm gonna step my game up and at least attempt to try to compete and be on his level. So it ain't just him and one and I'm the two. I want to be 1A and 1B. I'd rather that than anything. Yeah, but we'll see.
And that's an interesting point too. Oh, my bad, B. Go ahead. You've been trying to get this
go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say in that to Chris's point, the interesting thing about that is we don't hear the gatekeeper say anything about Bateman being injured 2 years in a row. It's always Lamar. He injured. He's hurt. Yeah. But they love, we got Bateman. Bateman is our number one, but no one never talks about him not being reliable. So you 100% correct, Chris. He should be looked at as, at this point, he should be looked at as a third option, right? And if he is here and he's healthy, then like you said, that's icing on the cake. That's perfect because he should be able to eat with somebody on the other side taking the attention away from him. But they gotta get. I don't want just. And I know you said this, Jose, that even if you brought in a couple solid guys at wide receiver, I don't even just want that. We, like B said, we need a true number one wide receiver, right? Let's make it so that we can't. Because they think we make excuses for Lamar. So let's make it so this roundtable can't make excuses for Lamar. You put as much talent around him. You give him a number one guy. You got one of the top 3 to 5 tight ends already, right? You put a solid running game. You put more talent around him. And if he doesn't produce with that, then we can say, all right, maybe Lamar ain't maybe he ain't it like some of y'all trying to say already. But you can't say that without putting the talent around him. As I've been saying, you can't keep putting 87 unleaded gas in the Ferrari. You just can't do it. Those engines can't handle that. That's not built for that. So you got to build around this guy and then shut us up or shut him up or shut whoever up. Right. But you got to let him prove that he can play with that type of talent. I need a true number one. I don't even want to say – I seen people say Mecole Hardman – if he's going to come in and be a 2, I'm cool with that. But I can't. I see Lazard. Those guys can't come in here and be 1.
Right.
No.
I need a true number 1 here, and I'll be happy with that.
Lazard ain't even as good as the dude from North Dakota State that came in as a rookie.
both of them better than Lazard. The other one, Dobbs too. Speaking of receivers, and this was a debate somewhere. I remember I heard it. Let's just say Bateman was with the Bengals,
Okay.
what receiver would he be? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Three.
Obviously not 1, so I ain't gonna even go there.
3.
4.
I personally think he'd be 4.
Yeah.
I think
He's
Boyd.
after Tyler.
Yeah, I think
After
he's
Tyler.
behind Tyler. Yeah,
I think
that's what we've gave Lamar to work with.
And expected him to be a number 1.
Exactly. That's what we gave
Yeah.
Lamar to work
Yeah.
with. We, Tyler, and I see everybody in the chat saying 3 and 4,
Yeah.
which is kind of in line with what we're saying. So now you're asking a guy to go out there and win games with, on the normal team would be a 2, and on a good team would be a 3 or 4. Come on. And then
Now,
people wonder why Philly leads the league in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
But they also got almost 2,000-yard receivers. So 2 things can happen.
Can be done. It can
2
be
things
done.
can happen.
And to Mike's point, there's a guy right now who has a real number 1 receiver, a really, really good number 2 receiver, top 3 tight end, and arguably the best running back in the league. And he's a 7th-round rookie.
Yep.
And everybody talking about Brock Purdy like he's the next big thing. Why can't Lamar have even a piece of that?
Right.
Right.
And that's why I said what I said about trying to pull somebody out of Shanahan's tree, because their designs are nuts, and you don't have to have your quarterback running the ball for what they do.
You mean the real run game guru, not Roman.
Yeah. Right.
I saw somebody on Twitter saying, "How can you be a run game guru and your starting running back is pissed off at you?"
That's true.
That was his problem. The running backs had 25 carries. Like, they needed at least 35 carries, in my opinion, total. Right?
At least.
And that's just the running backs. I know we had about 35 total as a team, but the running back should have ran the ball 35 times.
They had 25 between them. The guys we talking about.
Yeah.
25.
They
probably should have had at least 20 apiece.
Exactly.
That's the number one thing that got exposed throughout this whole time Lamar has missed games, is that he doesn't have a run game. His run game is Lamar. When Lamar's not playing, even with Tyler Huntley, he don't feel comfortable running the ball. He don't feel comfortable running the ball with Huntley. He don't feel comfortable running the ball with his running backs. Right. I understand. I thought early on that it was just J.K. Dobbins is on the pitch count because he had this injury. They working him back slowly. But what's the excuse for Gus Edwards? Right. It's just that you don't really have plays like that drawn up for your running backs. Your plays feed off of your quarterback. And when Lamar's not in there, you don't feel comfortable running those plays. That's why when we get down to the red zone, you're thinking, well, everything's working. Keep it up. That's when he starts doubting himself. So he's not even a run game coordinator. He's just Harbaugh's friend.
He's just a guy.
Yeah.
Just a guy. Lastly, last topic.
Uh-oh.
No, my ear itching. I'm trying not to.
I thought you was getting ready for something.
No. Just going forward, overall, what do you think on the season? Just, one positive, one negative on the season from everybody. Jose?
Positive is I'll say the defense, right? Even though I didn't like trading for Roquan Smith or signing him to that huge deal, Roquan Smith changes the attitude in that locker room on that side of the ball. So even next year, like I said, we got to do more with less. We will with Roquan, and we have enough talent there with Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton and Queen in that number 2 spot. I think the defense is going to be just fine. So that's the one positive. I think they can keep playing the way that they finished out the season going into next year. And the negative is everything else. I mean, they handled everything else poorly. Lamar should have been Mahomes and Lamar in a conversation for MVP. It should be that conversation every single year. And they sabotaged him, right? Somebody asked a question earlier in the chat. Do we feel that this staff purposely gave him less to work with to bring down his value, right? Yeah, I feel like they did, right? Because you hear everybody on Twitter and mainstream media and stuff like that saying, "Hey, oh, Lamar's holding out," right? Lamar's holding out. If we can make that assumption about Lamar, we can make that assumption about the team, right? If we can assume that Lamar is just playing hardball, he could have played, and that's why he didn't want to go out there, then we can make the assumption that this team purposely held back to try to bring down his value because they just didn't want to pay him, right? So I think part of it is they wanted to show that they didn't actually need Lamar; they can win without Lamar, which is why I think yesterday was big for everybody involved. Had they won that game, they could have kind of stood on that pedestal a little bit more, but they didn't. And everything that we've been talking about this season are the reasons why they didn't win the game.
Right. Mike?
I just want to say one thing. Michael and our buddy in there co-signing what he said. Michael said something about, look at the teams who mortgaged or spent a whole bunch on getting a number one and they're not doing well. Are you talking about the Buffalo Bills who gave up to get Diggs? Are you talking about the Philadelphia Eagles who gave up to give AJ Brown? Are you
the Rams?
Are you talking about the Rams?
Just won a Super Bowl?
Are you talking about even the Cardinals, who we do know D-Hop missed 6 games this year, right? And then when he got back, his quarterback got injured.
Yeah, I think they played 2 games together.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
I think the ones that spent a little bit to get number one receivers, it's worked out. I think that's why.
I think Under Pressure says he's talking about Miami and Arizona, but they had quarterback issues.
Yeah, Miami was in the playoffs and almost beat Buffalo with their third quarterback.
Yeah, and you saw the numbers.
And why is that? Who did they have on their team?
You saw how they put up
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I was about to say you saw how Tyreek Hill and Waddle put up crazy numbers, and then made Tua, because all of y'all in this chat was saying Tua was washed up and he was whack until this year. So I just wanted to discuss on that, but y'all got to be real sometimes, man. Like,
and people keep making these kind of arguments like this. Oh, look at they spent that and they're not doing well. Oh, the Rams mortgage their future build. What's Baltimore doing with the way you're handling your business? Are you winning? Or are you going to the playoffs and getting embarrassed every year?
Right. I mean, you got to spend. Man.
It's gonna be an up and a down in every argument.
Yeah, you got to spend to win. You got to spend to win, and that's just what it takes. But anyway, my positive, man. Look, ultimately, this team, all things considered, right? They had the grit of a team that was scary enough for teams to not want to play them. Like, honestly, I think the Bengals ain't want to see them. That was a bad draw for the Bengals, and if 8 was in that game, they definitely wouldn't have wanted that draw, right? They didn't get blown out once this year. Of course, we blew a few leads, and we can see who we put that on. A lot. We think coaching had their hand in on that, but I think this team, with the scraps that they had out there, I think together they were a gritty bunch. So I give them props from that. The negative, man, is I'm highly disappointed in the front office and the coaching staff and how they handled this situation with Lamar. Lamar, I don't agree much with Jason Lockenfor, but he's local and he has a local show here, and I listen. And he said the Ravens had a diamond and they chose not to polish it. And
what are you having, Michael?
They chose not to polish that diamond and take care of it, and that put me in mind of all these other situations. Josh Allen, the Bills took care of him ahead of time, right? Even the Cardinals took care of Kyler Murray way ahead of time, right? We like to play games with these contracts, and is going to quite possibly bite us in the ass, right? We should have taken care of Lamar in 2020 when he was eligible for an extension.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even
before
been
this
here.
guaranteed money issue was up.
We wouldn't have been here if they would have taken care of him like you're supposed to take care of a elite franchise quarterback. That what you showed that supposedly from Bashadi, if he felt that way, they should have took care of him 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if it's true. That's because I can't find it, so it may or may not be true what I put up there.
And even if it is true, like Mike said, I don't want to hear that from you now. You could have been had Lamar signed.
Yep.
You take care of that, and we for some reason didn't show support for this kid. Even when the media and everybody else was coming down on him, Mike Preston's punk ass, spreading certain narrative about Lamar being lazy and he not getting treatment, but everybody else saying he is. But no coaches came out and said that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And even this situation this past couple of weeks with the tweet that eventually came out from Lamar, when that could have simply been crushed by Harb saying Lamar is working. He's just not healthy enough right now. We holding out hope that he could play, but right now he's just not healthy, right? And when he's healthy, we know he'll play. He got up there and said, "I don't know what's going on. I don't have any more updates. I'm here. I'm coaching the guys that's here." And just as a whole, man, it just was disappointing on how this organization morphed into the organization that's 95 South from here. The Washington Football Club, Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call them. They look better than us as a front office right now, and that's hard to do because we know how they handle stuff over there. So, yeah, man, that's my negative, man. I'm really, really disappointed in how this organization handled this year, handled their elite quarterback, and it might hurt us, man.
Chris, you're positive and negative.
I'm gonna start with the negative first, and it's just the way that John Harbaugh has handled injuries. Period. This isn't his first year handling injuries. We went through this with Bashar Perriman, where you put pressure on a player, and you're like, yeah, he should be back soon, and it's like, hey, just go the Bill Belichick route. Don't give any updates. We don't need to know. The media doesn't need to know. And then he did the same thing with Ronnie, where he kind of threw him under the bus a little bit this year, where he's like, well, our staff, thinks he's good. We're just waiting on Ronnie. Why say that to the public? Like, why are you doing that to your guys? And this whole thing with Lamar, like I said, don't put expectations on him. Don't put these delusions of grandeur that you may have, and then you put it on the player, and then the player is the one that's getting, it's snowballing onto him. And now he's lazy. Now he's not showing up for treatment. Now he's this, he's that.
Right.
When you could have just put all of this to bed right away. So that's one of the things that ticks me off, because you've been a coach for almost 2 decades on this professional football team, and you still don't know how to navigate the waters of injuries and dealing with the media when it comes to that. And that ultimately goes on to your players, making them look bad. So that's something I didn't like. I still don't like the way he handles it. Positive was the offensive line. I thought the offensive line came together. I thought it was going to be a mess. I'm not even going to lie. I thought if you would have told me Ben Powers was going to be the left guard during training camp, I would have been like, damn, it's going to be a long season.
Right.
But, I thought they performed well for the most part. They weren't the Cowboys of the 90s, but I thought they performed well when you think about Ronnie not being in and then him coming back. And then, you kind of had a revolving door a little bit on the right tackle side when they had to flip Falalele over to the left side, and then you have Makari in. So I thought they did well for the most part.
Your positive is O-line. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, positive is O-line.
Quick question: How do you feel, like Chris and Coach particularly? Like you guys study film a lot. How do you feel about Falele moving forward?
I
like him in the run game. Is his weakness is pass pro,
I
and
like him at
that's
right
where
tackle.
the JJ Watts reside.
Yeah.
So his issue is pass pro, and he got to get nimbler. I know it's not a word. He got to get lighter on his feet.
Yeah.
He's too heavy footed. In the run game, he'd be good, but he got to get because we're in the division with TJ Watt, and we got to deal with it. So the right tackle got to be able to deal with TJ Watt.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's. I would love for it to be him because he's young, and he could be there for 3 or 4 years without just solidify that spot. But he has to get better. He has to get better. It's set up for him to be good because Moses, a 2-year deal on Moses, if that.
It was 3-year deal.
3 to play 2 probably. So it's set up for him to take that spot, but he has to take it. The same, and I think it was set up for Ben Cleveland to take it, and he blew it by, I think, not showing up on time and then taking a couple weeks to pass the
conditioning test.
Which does anybody else have a conditioning test? Because I was the only one I hear about.
They do, but they're not as stringent as ours. We have the most difficult strength and conditioning tests in the league for some apparent reason.
I wonder if that contributes to the injuries too.
Some okay. Anyway, who next? Hendo.
I mean, Chris stole my points, so I'm gonna make it. No, you good. I'm gonna make mine real quick. My positive for the season is, I think, for the media and Ravens flock, we finally have had John Harbaugh exposed as being the mediocre coach that he is. He can no longer hide behind, we did this with a Super Bowl 10 years ago, and we've been to the playoffs this many times. It's amazing to me that when Hollywood left, everybody had so much to say about Hollywood and how he turned on the team and he left. But if you look at it, all these offensive players that keep leaving this team or have production with this team, they want to leave. They like, I can't get out. Orlando Brown Jr., Hollywood, like even D-Jack. He like, look, y'all play too many games. You're not trying to win. So I'm out. That my negative will be, it took 5 years of Lamar Jackson's career for us to figure this shit out. That's my negative. We wasted his years and let's wait to see if these guys develop and they can play on his level or they can match his intensity on the field. That's what they've been saying. Everybody's been like, hey, run game defense. That's what we're known for. We get in the playoffs. Where's the run game? We don't run the ball. We should have learned from that Tennessee game. We need to run our running backs. That's our strength. You say every offseason, we want to be a run-dominant team. We want to be historically the best run team in the NFL. But when we get to the playoffs, no matter how well our running backs are doing, we want to pass. It's like Greg Roman is like, oh, shit, we in prime time and all eyes on me. I'm going to show y'all I'm better than Shanahan. Watch what I do. Watch what I do with this fullback. And it backfires on us. So I think, people are finally starting to see we aren't what we say we are, because we aren't Super Bowl contenders every year. We're playoff contenders, but as far as the Super Bowl goals, we ain't been close.
B?
I guess I would say the positive from this season is Patrick Queen kind of turning things around and coming in. I would say the negative is obviously, this is for the Ravens. That Lamar is going to be a Carolina Panther next year. and like Hendo said, it took you 5 years to maybe figure this out, and it's too late.
So my positive was Queen. I already kind of had faith in him, and he played okay. But once Roquan got here, he turned the freak up. Like, for real, turned up and played like we wish he had been playing the whole time.
Let's give him all his credit, Coach. Me and you've been capping for Queen. He started playing better before Roquan got here.
Okay, well, let's put the word.
That's why he was my positive, Mike, because it started before Roquan, and everybody's just saying Roquan unlocked him and all that.
Yeah, no.
Let's put consistency in there since Roquan came. Let's use that word.
He was playing better before Roquan got here.
I think he got a stretch of what?
Starting with that Bengals game,
10, 11 games where he been fairly consistent. He's had a few hiccups in that run, but how many games? How long Roquan been here?
The New Orleans game. The Saints game was his first game.
So that was what? That's how many games ago?
I'm not sure what week. I just know that's because that was the one I got a chance to go to. I know the Saints game was his first game.
10 games.
So Roquan been here 10 games. So I'm gonna say Queen had a good 13, 14 game stretch where he was looking all right. Like it turned around for him. And then Roquan coming in just kind of, that they showed that Roquan coming in just showed on the defensive side when you got a good partner next to you, what it does for you. Just like it would show on the offensive side if we get some dogs on that side.
Right. I believe in scoring points.
And I think that's how you negate a team. Like let's talk about the Bengals for one quick second. That's how you negate them is by getting because we're gonna lose some defensive pieces. It's just the nature of the beast. We got a good core there, but we're gonna lose some defensive pieces. The way you negate that is being able to score with them, and then we play situational defense. You don't have do you know how much pressure it is to shut down? Like we did a great job of shutting them down. Joe had like 203 yards. They had like 45 rushing yards. That was a great job out of defense. I couldn't ask them to put a better effort out other than getting maybe 2 or 3 more turnovers. But as far as the yardage, they had a great plan. J-Mar had 9 catches. Any other game, J-Mar had 9 catches. He's gonna have 125, 150, 200. He only had like 85.
Yeah, 84 yards.
So the plan and the execution of the plan was stellar last night, in my opinion. And the reason I even had faith in us winning the game was the demeanor and the attitude that I started seeing throughout the week from Roquan and Queen. That's when I started to change my thought. I'm like, bro, we can win this damn game. And that's kind of why, like going into Sunday, I was like, we got a shot. Because I just see the way they talking. They ain't capping. The Bengals were doing all that talking about we gonna see and all that. And Queen and Roquan was like, okay, see you Sunday.
Yeah.
Wasn't no talking. Okay, see you Sunday. And they set the tone last week.
Yeah.
They set the tone last week that we finna bust y'all in y'all face and see if y'all can handle it. See if y'all can handle it. Even Worley was a part of it. Worley hit Boyd in the ribs, and Boyd didn't get up till after the TV timeout.
Yeah. It almost felt that's where all the complaining came from. Oh, they were playing dirty. It was like they didn't want to get hit. It was like because it was a meaningless game for them. It's like, oh, they shouldn't be out here hitting like this. And it's like, nah, we out here to play. We gonna see y'all next week.
Yep. And they came with it. And I think a lot of that I think it's more so Roquan and his attitude than coaching.
Of course.
So and I will give Mike a little bit of slack with it being his first year. So he technically was a rookie too, but I expect him with what he has on defense, the groceries, to be a lot better next year. To be a lot more consistent next year. Because the 14 pick started to play like a 14 pick toward the end. Then you get your other first round pick that you should have not even had on the team or Jabo for a whole year. So he's gonna get more groceries in his bag. So he needs, he won't 17 games defense need to be lights out unless somebody get hurt. So that's what I'm at with it. Anybody else want to add to and wrap this thing on up?
I'm just trying not to look at these comments. I know we all itching. We all want to.
You talking about the Tampa Bay wide receiver core that won a Super Bowl? You talking about that? Yo, commenting on one game. What your wide receivers do that one game? The last game.
How that 45-year-old quarterback looking?
That won Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Then somebody said you put Duvernay and Prochet on any other team, they stars.
Nobody said that. There ain't nobody that stupid in this show.
What is it, Mike Sowers or whatever?
Yeah, he did. I think we got a Rock and Chen Wu situation.
Listen. I'm not gonna allow anybody.
I do know that inside joke. I know that inside.
I'm not gonna. Yes. I'm not gonna allow anybody to mention any other wide receiver other than Prochet because they were on Prochet heavy this offseason. Starting the season.
I was.
And Yeah, but you were always more realistic than some of these people were, right?
Look at my man Chiwu. Chiwu, I love you.
He said, "Huh?
Chiwu, man.
He said, what did I do?"
I love you, Chiwu. I love you, bro.
That was a great
Mark's
comment.
gonna be like, "What did he do?"
Great timely comment, Chinwoo.
Like
Go ahead,
they're in
Jose.
here arguing about, oh, look at the tape. What are these guys doing? They're scoring 6 points. Like the Ravens have done anything in the playoffs the last 5 years with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. What are y'all talking about?
Hey, but no, real talk. You got Michael Sowers in there. You got Al Horace, who I mean, this is what he does, right? But instead of asking coach to drop the link, you got a channel. You know what I'm saying? Plug your channel. You start your own roundtable. You know what I'm saying?
We'll come on.
Right.
We travel in a pack though.
Right,
so I know you was coming at my man Chris. We travel in packs.
I know you trying to get some attention. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't coming at me. He too busy flirting with Michael in the chat.
Don't get so emotional over our opinions. Like, I mean, look, you argue all year about Prochet. Where we at right now, right? You still making excuses. Don't make excuses. Just say, hey, I was wrong about Prochet. Keep it moving, right?
And that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. Because I still like the kid, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
I like everybody that's in a Ravens uniform. I root for everybody, right? But if they're not doing well, they're not doing well. That's why I asked Coach and Chris about Owe for next year, because he's gonna be on the team. I want him to do really well. I want him to break out, right? Mm-hmm. I want Ojabo to break out. Like, I don't want us to have to keep saying, man, we got to go get another edge rusher. We got to go get another corner. We got to go get this. I just want these guys to do well. But they're not doing well. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. You can go, there's plenty of channels that can go out there and lie to y'all about this. This ain't the channel. And our channels ain't the channel either.
Gosh. It is what it is, man.
Good luck with your channel, man. Good luck.
Right. Thank you for coming every week. We see you every week. We appreciate you.
Don't go live. I will be in there. Do not go live.
Oh man.
Hey, with that being said, man. Hey, we'll be back. We'll be back.
Yes,
we'll be back. We'll be back Monday. I already got some things that I'm thinking about, and we'll collaborate on Monday. So we'll be back Monday to talk about what we saw the weekend before and talk about our Ravens, man. This has been fun. I appreciate everybody for coming through. The good thing about it is it's conversation. It's conversation. Even with IF Torres, it's conversation. And none of us get paid by the Ravens. So this all our opinion, or Panthers. This all our opinion. And everybody, all 16 billion people in the world, however many it is, got an opinion. And it's can you talk about your opinion in a manner where it's not toxic? Mm-hmm. And that's what these 6 guys, because this thing started on disagreement over Prochet, but look how it's evolved to what it is now. So I think I got 5 other like-minded guys on here with me, and we just don't roll it like that, man. That is what it is. That is what it is.
I didn't know Horse inspired you, Hendo. That's incredible.
You ain't supposed to read that out loud, B.
Look at Hendo's face.
Hey, you know what? I will say this for him. That's not gonna persistent, man. He ain't backed off nothing yet.
Yeah.
It's like this. Stupid is as stupid does, right?
It's all love.
Wait a minute. You inspired me to do what?
It's all love, man. It's all love.
I was subscribed to the channel. I ain't gonna hold that, yo. But you inspired me to do what?
It's all love. I've tours and Michael Sowers, man. Look, we appreciate y'all.
And I think I've never seen Mike in here, so I appreciate you for coming through, Mike. I can't recall you being in here, so if this is your first time through, I appreciate it.
Right,
and
hit that subscribe
because we disagree.
Subscription button.
Because we disagree. Don't not come back.
Right.
Don't not come back. Because at one point we're gonna say something that we agree on, and we're gonna see how it go from there. But again,
subscribe, man. Subscribe to all our channels.
Like, comment, subscribe. It's 222 people in here. I don't know how many likes we got. I know it's over 100, but I can't see the number. Hit that like button before you get out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Let me tell y'all this. Look at me. Everybody else look at me. I am so proud of the video I did today on More Sip the Talent about Trevor Lawrence. And it ain't about the Ravens. I know it's a Ravens channel, but I busted my butt on that video, and I like the way it came out. So y'all need to go over to More Sip the Tally and look at the video. It's called Good Trail versus Bad Trail. And I was proud of putting that thing together and producing it and whatever I did to go with it. So subscribe to that channel, subscribe to this one. Catch me on IG and TikTok at Sip the Tally Films and on Twitter at Coach Evans 9. Hendo, where can they find you?
You can find me on Ravens Online Ungatekeepers every Thursday and every Sunday doing a live stream. You can also find me every Friday at noon with my man, Mr. Galloway, on Electric Relaxation with Mr. Galloway. Apparently, you can find me on the beginning of I've Horror Taurus's channel because I made a comment and my channel came right after I saw him. Not you, Coach, not you, Mike, not you, Lunch Break Hot Take, but after I saw him, that's when I decided I wanted to start a channel.
He said that guy right there.
That one right there. I'm his inspiration.
Mike. He say you still the homie.
But it's cool because it's the problem. I don't take this shit personal. You have your opinion, they have their opinion. Y'all want to make this something that it's not. Mm-hmm. Once again, my opinion. I don't say I'm right. I don't say I'm wrong. I'm just saying it's my opinion. But if you feel like you inspired me, you take that with you. You ride with that homie. It is what it is.
I want everybody's channel to blow up. I want everybody's channel to blow up.
Thanks for the inspiration.
Everybody.
I want everybody's channel to blow up.
100%.
This is gonna start a chain reaction for other people. Exactly. Now that I will agree with him. He just said it's entertainment. That is exactly what it is. It's entertainment. Yeah. Chris, I hit you first.
No,
he isn't.
Go ahead, Chris.
You can find me on Twitter, Chris Just Joking. You can find me on the Deep Cover Podcast. We're gonna be dropping some draft stuff. That I'll be consistent with. In the season stuff, it's a little iffy on in the season, but the draft stuff, we're gonna be consistent and we'll be coming at you with some draft stuff.
All right, LBHT.
All right, man. Lunch Break Hot Take. You can find our show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed up by the overtime show, which happens right afterwards. To get access to that, just sign up to patreon.com/LBHT show. And also Ring Kings Podcast. That's the show that we do with our brother OTR Mike. It's a boxing channel, Ring Kings Podcast. You can check it out. We just dropped the episode. We're doing some movie reviews, some boxing movie reviews. We had a very good one on Kasim the Dream. If you don't know who Kasim the Dream is it Uma? Kasim the Dream Uma. Yes, a former Uganda child soldier who defected to the U.S. and became a pro boxer. Very good documentary. We did that with our friend Ferris. So go over there and check that out. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook and TikTok at LBHT Show.
B.
Also, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all that at Ring Kings Pod.
Yes.
And I just want to say, we don't know exactly what we're going to be doing for the off season with this roundtable just yet. So I just want to take the moment to thank, all the Ravens fans and thank Coach and everybody here for having me on, even though I'm not a Baltimore Ravens fan, welcoming me here and let me be part of the roundtable. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
I wanted that outside presence in here because at times we can be homers and outside people can see stuff different. So that's kind of why B's here, even though I know people complain saying he's a Panthers fan, but he's here to be that extra voice. Now, you know how to take the time. I'm just saying. Because, this is a Ravens show and they be like, why we got a Panthers fan on it? Yeah. They didn't necessarily complain. I use that. But, man, it's been a season.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
All I can say is it's been a season.
Yeah.
So I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like and follow everybody's channel because the last game was yesterday, but obviously the week after it still got stuff to be hashed out. So go, because everything.
Don't forget OTR Mike. Open mic with OTR Mike.
Oh man,
I skip Mike.
That's all good.
I usually that's my bad. I usually plug Mike's stuff.
Hey, it's all good.
No, man. I'm
look,
sorry.
I was gonna sit here quiet, like they see me before. No, it's all good.
Go ahead, Mike.
As you know, I'm OTR Mike, host of open mic with yours truly. As I like to say, that's the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. I've tours. Come on, Joe. Chill, B. Yeah, I'm showing you love up here. Chill, G. Like, I'm showing you love. But anyway, yeah, man, it's a little different in sports, even though I got a few sports-based topics, but I try to spin it a little different. And hopefully give you guys a side of these gentlemen that you see up here that you typically don't see. As you'll see probably in a week, but I got an episode with Coach Evans coming out, and it's really, really dope. The topic we touched on was fire. So if you haven't subscribed already, man, go over there, subscribe to your boy, help me get my, likes up, help me get in the face of some more people. I already appreciate a bunch of y'all who already support the show. So thank you. And then, as Jose said, I am 1/3 of the almost famous Ring Kings podcast. If you want your boxing fix, man, go over there and check it out. It's the start of a new year. So we're excited because hopefully we get some good fights coming on this year, and you'll see us do our live stream thing and all of the above. So, man, salute to everybody that's checked us out weekly. I didn't even tell you this. Ran into some lady who had a screenshot of this of the Roundtable.
Oh,
a coworker, and was like, "Yeah, my husband was watching this. Is that you?" Like, yeah, that's me. And she was like, "Wow, I didn't know that." And I'm like, "Yeah, we do our thing." So, shout out to him if he's watching. And to his wife, if I don't come to work tomorrow, you didn't see me here at all. So salute to all of y'all, man, that's been checking us out weekly, and that includes you too, Doors. We love you, Chin Woo, my man. We love you too. And what my man, Big Red?
We love y'all.
Big Red,
Big Red. Yeah. Shout out to Big Red, man. Shout out to Big Red. I'll close on this. The most interesting thing from this season for me was going to the Saints game and people recognizing who I was and wanting to take a picture with me. That's dope. So cool for the couple people that did it for me. I was like, that made my year. Just for people to recognize me and want to take a picture with me and want to have a conversation. That was different. That was different. And so I'm thankful for everything and everybody. And anybody got any aunties? Hey man, cut it out. This ain't a internet dating site. Hey, but we out, man. We out. It's 2 hours. We out.
What's up, Reg?
No, I think Reg's probably watching the game or asleep or playing Call of Duty.
was in. He was in.
No, he's right.
No, he wasn't. Where?
He just commented. Yeah,
He did. Oh, there he is. There he is. I see him. Hey, like the Cam Newton say, thumb up and one finger.
Big Red.
We'll see y'all throughout the week, man. Don't forget. Well, I don't know what Hendo's schedule is because we ain't got a preview show Thursday.
Hendo going to be on tomorrow night on Steel Conspiracy podcast on Suge Knight 323.
No,
okay, there it is.
I'm not.
Tomorrow night, Steel Conspiracy with Suge. Yeah, that's where you get Hendo at. You get LBHT, their show, Wednesday at 7:15. Mike dropped did you drop episode today, Mike?
I'm
a little late. It's a little late. But we getting it out.
It's coming out. This coming out. Just keep your
episode coming out.
This won't be the episode with Coach Evans. I'm gonna hold that till next week, but you'll get that.
Hey, Big Reg, I need your address, bro. I need you to hit me up on Twitter and give me your address for your prize.
Cause we pulling up, Big Reg.
6 deep. and Chris, y'all doing an episode this week?
Yeah, we are definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Check that out and then go to Chris's individual stuff for the draft stuff too. We'll have, I know it's in May, but you'll see all us plus a few more for the draft too. All us plus 2 more that I'm trying to talk into, which I think I can talk them into for the draft too. One's already committed, but I need to get both of them. And basically, it's the deep cover guys. It's Kerry and Mike.
I'll make sure they pull up. I'll make sure.
Gotcha. Even if you got to put them in the trunk and drive up. Pull up. But again, that's it for this week. We'll see y'all next Monday and throughout the week on other pages. Thank you, TM, for joining. Appreciate you, Big Reg, and we out. We out. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that.